Hello everyone, I'm here at Garrison Park slash Concrete Plant Park. Both of them are connected. And I'm here to see what we find. There's a lot of interesting things at this park. I'm also here to take some time to finish reading Lisi's story. I have like less than 20 pages left to go. So let's see if I can find a good place to read and see what we can discover about this park. It's here in the Bronx, and it's a great place to enjoy the Bronx River. The first thing you'll notice at the Garrison Park entrance is that it rides right along some train tracks. These train tracks are not actually used. They've been abandoned. At the end, there's an abandoned train station at the Concrete Plant Park side of it. And if you're into graffiti, this entire wall has been graffitied all the way down. We'll check out some cool graffiti on the way. You can see a lot of graffiti on the walls. People just tagging their names. You guys see that silhouette? It's cool. There's a very short walkway. I would say it's far less than a mile, maybe 1/3 of a mile, between Garrison Park at one end and Concrete Plant Park at the other. Look at that monkey. Well, that's interesting. We're approaching this underpass which divides Garrison Park on one end and Concrete Plant Park on the other end. And there's a reason why they call it Concrete Plant Park. As soon as we come into the park, we see there's a bunch of plant life, places to sit down, right along the Bronx River. So why is it called Concrete Plant Park? Well, from 1940 to 1987, there used to be a concrete plant here, and you can see some of the structures right there still standing. We'll get close to them. Come on, we'll check it out. Coming across these structures, which were left here as part of the park for everybody to enjoy, as part of the history of the park and what the land was used before. I also want to mention one other cool thing. If you have a kayak place where you can launch a kayak right here, you are allowed to do that. That's one of the purposes of this park, is to enjoy the Bronx River, and they have that option for you. And they have these really cool containers over here with this interesting artwork. Let's see. Have this lady, have the guy biking. It's basically, I think, what they envisioned this park to be. The dad teaching his child to fish, families walking. We also have this little garden area of the park. We have some really cool benches on the other side. You see those canoes that are straight up? Those are actually canoes that were made into benches. So let's go closer and take a look. There's this little gazebo. That might be a good area for me to read and finish my book. But check out these little canoe benches. They also have these logs right here where you could sit down and read. It's pretty cool. And it's right next to these huge structures which used to be used in the making of concrete here in New York City. The history of New York City, it's sort of like art, right? These are no longer in use, and you can see they've become red. I don't know if that's paint or rust, but they do have like that reddish color on them. And speaking of reading a book, I had mentioned these seats where you can lay down, and they appear to be made out of concrete. We have here the Concrete Plant Park Reading Circle. Never really seen them in use. It's probably a bit cold to use them. This is a cool structure. When it's very sunny outside, they actually have some benches with a screen so you don't get, blasted by the sun. But you could sit down and enjoy the weather. Obviously, this time of morning, it's not working. The shadow's all the way over there. Like, it's not working. But I'm pretty sure midday, the sun is directly above. These things work pretty well. And you can enjoy the Bronx River while sitting down, sipping some coffee or tea, reading a book. Yeah. If you'd like to take a walk by the Bronx River, this is a really cool place to do it. There's a lot of places to sit down. The walk is not that bad. And they have these really cool concrete places where you can lie down. And if you are a fan of chess or checkers, they have the tables right here. You just got to bring the pieces yourself. You can sit down, enjoy your drink, have a chess match. On my way to the structure I wanted to show you, I also found this pretty interesting edible food forest. Now, it's not much at the moment. It is full of edible food. This is here for people to enjoy. But yeah, it's a nice little addition to this park, which would have been nothing. This park, once the concrete plants weren't here, this just would have been the edge of the Bronx River, and they decided to make it into a beautiful park for people to enjoy. But honestly, we need to check out what that structure is right now to show you what that's about. Hey folks, here it is, the abandoned train station. This used to be part of the New York, Westchester, and Boston train station. There's a bunch of signs saying not to enter the train station, not to go in, but it's also something that is historic that the city will not knock down. They keep it up as a piece of history. You can see it right here through this gate. I'm gonna try to get an even better angle. In the early 1900s, the trains would come from Manhattan through here and up to Connecticut and Massachusetts. Due to low ridership, the trains were decommissioned. All we have left is this structure of what the train station used to be and a bunch of old pictures online. But every once in a while someone comes in here and films a video they're not supposed to. It's all boarded up, as you can see, but it still says Westchester Avenue, New York, New Hampshire Railroad. And when we look at it from the far end, you can see that it's completely covered in vines. The roof shingles are coming off, and the architecture was really something that they put a lot of thought into. You could also see how empty it is on the inside there, just a little bit, how everything is crumbling and falling apart. Let me know, when you ride the 6 train above Hunts Point, do you keep an eye out of the window for this here abandoned train station? Don't answer though, we don't want to get in trouble with the cops.